Welcome back to Frederick Advice Givers, episode 146. I am Eric Verney, sitting here with Dr. Shell and Dr. Brooke here at Compassion Vet in the heart of Urbana, which growing up 30 years ago, we would be sitting in the middle of a field right now, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you guys are both kind of local. Mm-hmm. So how long have you been in the area?
I was born and raised in Frederick County.
And you were?
About 15 years that we've lived here in the area.
Okay. So you came here when this was just starting to get built up?
Just starting to be built, yeah.
You were here long ago when this was all cornfields.
Right, when it was the glass front tractor store.
Exactly.
And the movie store and the Highs.
Yep, the Highs.
And that was it.
Well, there was a pizza joint beside the Highs that was great.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Yeah, there was a pizza joint there. So, like I mentioned, we're sitting here in Urbana, across from Giant Compassion Vet. It's at the end of one of the commercial retail strip centers here.
Urbana Market District.
In Urbana Market District, across from the Green Turtle, the new Green Turtle.
Yes. Yeah. We can see the TV screens.
Can you?
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, how's that game going?
Did the Cavs win last night? Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the meat of the interview.
Well, I'm born and raised in Frederick County. I went to college at Hood College and did go away for the military for a couple years and then came back. United States Army. I was a 91 Tango, which is a vet tech for the Army. And it was very...
Okay, this is great. So explain that to me, a vet tech for the Army. So with...
Either working with military working dogs.
Okay.
At that time, there was a pretty decent welfare and morale draft horses that we would work on as well, you know.
Like old school, like infantry type of?
No, I mean, they were more for parades,
gotcha.
ceremonial type horses.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they still exist. And then we would go to other countries and do goodwill missions where we were deworming cattle, helping them get set up with a, more flowing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The military, particularly the Army, have a lot of veterinarians.
They do. And then we would also do rabies vaccinations for street dogs. And in third world countries, people still die from rabies every single day.
So what was the most, I don't want to say traumatic, but what's the most memorable thing that you saw on your tour?
I would think that although, I obviously love animals and spent my entire life, treating them, loving them, wanting to help them. But I think when you would go to the third world countries and we would be, deworming the dogs and cats and you would see the children line up and they would want the dewormer too. I mean, it tastes like banana, so that's part of it. But, you know that they probably legitimately have intestinal parasites.
Right.
And, that's not something in this country that a lot of the children are, going to school.
Right.
You're not worried about them having a belly full of worms, So I think that was, traumatic. I think that when you experience things like that, and it's easy in everyday life to forget, you worry about, running late for your appointment or, you worry about your things.
Yeah,
but
it's
they're
first world problems, not third world problems.
Exactly. And I'm still very guilty of worrying about first world problems. But I think seeing that, it changes you for sure.
So your backstory, Dr. Brooke.
So I, just like Dr. Shell, grew up wanting to be a veterinarian. I think I decided when I was 4 that I wanted to be a veterinarian. I grew up in Wisconsin. I'm a diehard cheesehead. And I went to undergrad at William & Mary in Virginia. Met my husband, decided to stay on the East Coast, although I went to vet school at the University of Wisconsin. Went back to Wisconsin, went to vet school, and then moved to Frederick in 2004 or so.
Okay. And you're both married?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kids?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you have?
8-year-old son and twin daughters that are 6.
Yeah. And I have a 7-year-old boy, and then I have 4 pets. I have 2 cats and 2 dogs, all rescues. Various stages of chaos at my house. So I always say it's like having a whole pack of wild creatures. Like there's not really a differentiation between the species. It's like 5 wild beasts that run around my house, and the little 9-pound cat is in charge of like the 70-pound dog and the 7-year-old child, and he tells everyone what to do. And they're a hoot.
Awesome.
Come here to relax.
Dr. Shell, you had mentioned you guys have been open just over 2 years.
Yes.
So why did you choose Frederick/Urbana location for opening up your veterinary practice?
Well, the most obvious choice was that this is a growing community and that I need clients to support. And it was a complete startup. I had been practicing emergency and critical care for the last 5.5 years. And so I had friends and family, but no real client base that would come see me. All the people that I helped in the ER weren't my long-term clients and patients. And so I wanted a place that was very busy. Right. And I also thought that there was a need in this community to have something a little bit different, not corporate. You know, this is a big town, but I wanted to have a small town feel, so that, you know, everybody knows your name. You know, we see our clients walking by, we wave, we smile. I wanted people to walk their pets here. You know, and that was the big driving force, that there are the people here to come. So I thought, you know, if I build it and I treat people well, they will come. So
tell me, we were talking in the pre-interview that you guys have a very good working relationship, that you're better suited. I don't know if better is a better word, but more comfortable doing certain types of things, and you are too, Dr. Shell. So why don't we talk about your strengths and what you're better suited for?
Well, I don't know if I'm better suited, but you like the things you like, just like anybody, right? So I'm a dental nerd. And that was really turned out to be a really nice fit, because I have a lot of, it's not something that you do a lot of in emergency medicine, right? It's not of emergency dentistry and veterinary medicine. So it was a really nice complement, something that I could bring to the table to advance the offerings here. We invested in a little bit more sophisticated equipment. We're able to do some more sophisticated procedures and stuff. So I'm a big dental nerd. I'm also a certified canine rehabilitation therapist. I do sports medicine, soft tissue care, post-operative, and so on. And we don't do that here. We actually refer that to another hospital, and I do some time there. But it's something I have an eye for: how dogs move, what leg are they limping on, things that are subtle. Why is that? So,
for example, a patient that I've been taking care of since it was a little tiny puppy came in to see me at the end of the week, and you know, she's obviously not normal. She's not sound. And that sound is the word you use when you're talking about lameness. She's not sound, but you know, she's a very happy, voracious puppy. You know, I'm trying to do an orthopedic exam. She's licking my face. She's rolling on her back. But I knowing that she was here, I'm like, you know what you need to do? Come back on Tuesday, because Dr. Brooke is here and we can examine her together. And all of a sudden, that's such a big value to the client. They're getting 2 for the price of 1. They're getting someone that has you know, more experience, you know, 24 hours a week, she does this exclusively. And, you know, and so it's just nice to have those types of things to bounce off of each other.
And on the flip side, I'm pretty useless in an emergency, like CPR, applied pressure. I don't know. But after that, Dr. Shell's a much better soft tissue surgeon than I am. So like abdominal procedures and stuff. Certainly we both spleens and uterus and lumps and those things. But you got something major.
Right.
Yeah. If you had a 20-pound spleen, let me take it out.
Yes, please.
That's your full. Awesome. All right, so let's loosen it up here. So what's the last purchase that you splurged on, either for yourself, family, practice, whatever you...
Well, I literally last week bought a car. I wouldn't say I was desperate to buy a car. My husband and I aren't fancy car people. Right. We have 3 children, like we mentioned, and they are dirty, and you know, they have sports and they eat food and all those things. But we had a 2007 minivan, and we are ones to drive our car until they explode. And I mean, it almost exploded. You know, my husband's been driving. Luckily, we had a very, you know, we didn't have a hot spring. Although driving a car with no AC in the rain to Rockville, and that's where he commutes, has not been ideal for him. So you know, we made the decision to buy a car. And we did buy a used car, but it's the fanciest car we've ever owned. You know, awesome. The steering wheel heats up.
Steering wheel heats up.
Yeah.
I have seats that heat up.
Yeah. So that, you know, it wasn't a fun expenditure, but I drove it to work today, and I can tell you that, you know, it was nice. The air conditioning blowing.
Right. I love it.
So that's the last big thing I bought.
And you, Dr. Brooke?
Well, we tried to buy Yankees and O's tickets on Sunday, but the game got
rained out. I had friends that were going,
I know. So, yeah, so much for that. But that was.
Are you a sports fan?
Yes, we're big sports fans in my family. So instead, we made an unscheduled trip to the aquarium on Sunday because we were like pulling into the harbor when they called the game.
What's your sport of choice?
Green Bay Packer football.
Okay, awesome. And so we'll start with you, Dr. Brooke, for this one. What hobby or interest do you enjoy doing?
You know, mostly just being with my family. We like to hike, so the 2 dogs. The cats don't usually come. we like to hike, or we like to go out to the shore. The dog's like, well, my lab actually doesn't really love the shore, but my human child and my female dog, who's a little border collie mix, they love the water.
Your human child, I like that.
Human child. Well, it's a different. But yeah, so that's. We like sports. We're big Keys fans, and
cool. And what do you enjoy doing in your spare time?
Pretty much the same time, spending time with my family. I have a pretty big family. We've always have stuff going on. And
is your husband from around here too?
He is. We grew up, we are high school sweethearts. We met
where'd
in
you high school?
Linganore High School.
You did?
Yeah.
My wife went to Linganore.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
we met in 10th grade.
Okay.
We got married when we were 25 and had kids when we were 30.
Okay. What year did you graduate high school?
96.
You know Mike Sacchetti?
Oh, yes.
It's my brother-in-law.
Oh, there we go.
So this is my wife.
Okay.
Small world.
A small world.
Frederick is a small little community.
It is. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So we'll start with you. When you wake up in the morning, having your own practice, having your own business, you didn't own a business prior, right?
Right.
So 2 years ago?
When I worked at the emergency critical care, I was a minority partner for about 3 years.
Okay. So what passion or what's inside of you that makes you get up in the morning and come to the facility and come to, what's your driving passion?
There's lots.
Okay.
I mean, it's not any one thing. I think that, and everything's always a work in progress, but I really want a place where, aside from people being worried about their pet being sick, that's
right.
not, and it's not always fun to spend money on, vaccinations or tires for your car,
right.
but
right.
But I think seeing how much people care about their pets
mm-hmm.
and being able to help them in a capacity that they need, and I think building trust with people,
right.
I think professionally is one of the big driving forces for me. And I think the other one is getting to work with people that their knowledge, their ability, their care
mm-hmm.
inspires me on a daily basis,
awesome.
And so, you see the support staff, and, we just hired a few new assistants, and because we're growing and we need some help, and seeing how much they want to learn, and seeing how when the phone rings, they want to answer it and help the client. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool thing. And then working with Dr. Brooke, and we actually just hired another partner time to help us out. Because we really want to find a balance between the clients knowing the doctor, but mm-hmm. never having to turn someone away because we're too busy.
Right.
We're never going to be a big practice, but we do want to be able to meet the needs. But working with the other doctors and listening to them on the phone and reading through their records, and I think it's just a really cool feeling.
Awesome. And so what's your driving passion? I know you said you have human kids. So you obviously have a love for animals.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But, I think you hear it a lot, when you talk to kids in high school, I want to be a vet because I love animals, but I don't like people. I'm like, okay, well, you're in the wrong job because this is not an animal job. This is a people job. It's nice that there are animals too, but really it's a people job. But, for me, it's the people that I've known for, I have some of the same clients I've had for the whole 14 years I've been practicing in Frederick County. They followed me to multiple hospitals, and they're here now, and they're part of our compassion family. And it's like, oh, I gotta get up this morning and get going because I know at 2:00 I have to see a dog for a really loyal client who drives from another state to see us, and
right.
Time to get up and get rolling. But also, the team here is amazing. So it's nice to come into work in the morning and know you're going to be happy to see the people that you're coming to work with as well. So I think both of those things.
I think one of the things in business, and you guys are in a different business than I am, but you have to have that relationship with your clients.
Mm-hmm.
They have to trust you.
One of our patients is outside the window.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so yes.
Stella, are you having a nice walk? Sorry.
There's got to be a trust level, and obviously people treat their pets like family. They really are family. I remember my yellow lab Silver growing up. He was like, he was always there and always around, and when he passed away, it was tragic.
It is.
So having that connection, and you have a compassion, right? That's a great word. You have a compassion for the pets, and people see that, and they have a trust in you, right?
Yeah.
So it's getting that trust.
That's the goal.
It's getting that trust.
And it's not, and to me, it's earning it naturally,
right. Right.
and deserving it.
Right.
And I think that once you earn it, and once you deserve it, I mean, there's still work to be done. You know, I mean, you can't. I forget the saying, but it's sort of like, you know, success isn't owned. You know, it's almost borrowed. You know,
right.
it's on lease. You know, I mean, you
right.
have to keep wanting it and keep doing it for it to keep coming back to you. So
Absolutely.
that's the same, in my opinion. You know, as far as success goes, you know, trust. You know, the trust you have to keep proving yourself.
Absolutely.
Or
Absolutely.
you know.
All right. So this one's for you, Dr. Shell.
Okay.
So what advice would you give somebody just starting out in business in the entrepreneurial world?
Well, be ready to lose sleep. No. I think that,
obviously, being a business owner, I mean, don't have any downtime.
Right. Yeah. I think that the advice I give would be to really go in it with an open heart and open mind, being willing to accept that the way you 100% envision things may not come into fruition, but that doesn't mean that you're a failure. Mm-hmm. And that, you know, small mistakes or even medium mistakes or even big mistakes is, you know, they're necessary to grow and learn. And that you, I think if you put your heart forward and your intentions are good and you try to live by that, then, you know, success is, you know, almost guaranteed. Right. I think.
In business, there's no linear line from here to there.
No.
You know, there's peaks and valleys and peaks and valleys, and just when you think something's going good, something bad happens, or vice versa. You're having a really crappy day or week or month, and then, you know, you see a client walking outside and it brightens up with your guy's day.
Right. Yeah.
She's a cool story.
All right, so this one's for you.
Okay.
What is a bad piece of advice that maybe somebody gave you that didn't work out like they said it might or would?
Yeah, I think both actually, Dr. Shell and I have maybe somewhat traumatic partial ownership stories in our background. So I think maybe that might be one of the cautionary tales, is you have to be a little bit careful about partial ownership and minority shareholdership and how those things end up working out. But so I guess that would be the cautionary tale I would
align yourself with somebody you can trust completely.
Right. So
or that you get along with.
Yes. I think whose vision you are aligned with, right? Like, it's not like Dr. Shell and I agree on everything, or that we would treat everything exactly the same way. There's a lot of art to medicine, not always science, but I think both of us, you know, because we feel the same way about how you treat people and how you treat relationships. Like, that's different. We never have, like, we don't have meetings in this practice where we sit down and talk about, like, you know, what would be really a good moneymaker is if we started doing some, like, you know, wacky marketing scheme. Like, we don't, you know, those are never the meetings. The meetings are like, hey, you know what? We read this paper about this new diagnostic test, and currently we're doing this test, but maybe we could do this test. Like, or, you know, dentistry. Like, how can we, you know, what new equipment do we need that we can do better for our patients?
Right.
Like, you know, stuff like that. So
I think that's a huge one. You know, I think the advice that you would get from typical business seminars on how to increase profitability and profit margin. Mm-hmm. And I think they exist. Those seminars exist in the veterinary world, and there are a lot of veterinary practices that is their focus, and they probably do quite well monetarily. But I think that, you know, I feel like that's a piece of advice that I've never really tried to follow, mm-hmm. but I feel like that's a pretty bad piece of advice, because I think that when you're in it for that purpose solely, that you lose focus on the patient, the client in front of you, and the staff in front of you, because there's a lot of ways to increase profit margin, but sometimes it's at the detriment of the people you're helping or the people you're working with.
And we're all in business because we have to make money to make a living, but it's ultimately what's your why, what's your goal,
right?
You know, is it the relationship or is it the profit?
Right.
Because there's two different ways to go about it.
Right.
Quite honestly, all of veterinary medicine at this point is a tax on people who can't do math, right? Like, just like the lottery. Like, if you're a college kid and you're like, I want to be a veterinarian, it's like, did you sleep through math class? Because you probably really, really don't financially. So if you went into veterinary medicine for money, you went the wrong way. Right. So, you know, the goal is to provide a good service and then figure out what the financials are that follow it, that mean you can do what you want to do, right? That allow us to come to work every day and do what we enjoy and have good staff and pay them well
Right.
so that they can have a family, so that
Right.
we can have a family and feed them and have a new car when the last one explodes and those kinds of things. And, you know, and do well for our clients and be there for them. And so we work that direction on the financials, right? Like,
Right.
what do we have to do so that we can do these things that are important to us?
We want to do more and we want to do better.
So in the last 3 years, and either one of you can answer this, what's one choice or one pivotal moment that's led us to sitting here today? I know you're 2 years into it, so anything.
Well, I made the decision to separate from my previous partnership and open on my own for a lot of different reasons. I can say a huge one is one of my twins is autistic, and she is, you know, having a special needs child is difficult, and I feel like, and then, you know, the name compassion kind of came from that too, because it takes a lot of compassion from other people that work with her, and it takes a lot of compassion from the people that I work with, you know, for, you know, I need to be able to sometimes come in late to be the person to put her on the bus, you know, and so I think that being my own boss in that way was really important to me, so I could make sure I could be there, not just for her, but for my entire family, and that I could make some significant decisions on, you know, how I treat my staff and how I treat my patients and clients without someone sort of dictating, you know, from a monetary standpoint, like, you're going to do this because that increases profit margin, not because that may be what the animal needs. To me, veterinary medicine isn't, we do sell things, but it's selling things out of information and informing a client what's needed, not, you know, oh, you want this sofa, this end table looks very nice with that, you should get this too. You know, if the dog doesn't need an end table, if the dog doesn't need an end table, the dog doesn't need an end table, despite the fact that it may be good for the bottom line. So that's sort of a big driving force for me to open my own practice.
Okay. So Dr. Shell, Dr. Brooke, you are episode 146. So meaning I've sat across the mic, 145 other business owners, entrepreneurs. I get to learn stuff asking you guys questions every interview and all the prior interviews. Let's flip the script and you ask me a question. I know we have a shared background. You have just met, so I'm open books. What question do you have for me? Business, life, personal, whatever.
Well, we were talking about sports, so you have to tell me who's your sports team.
The Redskins. I'm a local that's a great question. So I actually grew up at a time, I grew up 3 miles from here, at a time when DC didn't have a baseball team.
Right.
And Baltimore, I actually went to the last Colts game, Baltimore didn't have a football team.
Right.
So I'm in that little, I'm an Orioles fan.
So you're an O's.
I'm an O's, Redskins, Wizards, Maryland sports fan. So local.
There you go.
But yeah, my main team's the Redskins.
Okay.
That's a good question.
So you're used to heartbreak.
Absolutely. From the time I was 91 was the last Super Bowl. Yeah, from the time I was 14 or 15. It was great until I was 14 or 15. The last 25 years, it was horrible.
I mean, I grew up a Redskins fan. My whole
You did,
so, you know, loyalty. You know, loyalty at its finest.
Exactly. Did you have a question?
I guess my question is, doing these interviews, what's the one thing that shocked you the most from the type of people that you interview?
It's a common thread throughout. It's not, I don't know if it's shocking, but it's a common thread throughout. I'm going to use the word again, not no pun intended, the compassion that people have, and compassion for their business, you know, for their why. It's last interview we did, it was, you know, big burly guy. We almost broke down crying because we had some mutual things. It's learning the why behind the person. You know, you've got an autistic daughter. You've got little mini pet babies. It's that why. It's really cool to find, because it's not. I didn't start a business to make money, right? I didn't start a business because I wanted to, you know, take off weekends and work 3 days a month. You know, that's the opposite of a business owner.
Right.
You know, you do this, and I do what I do for a passion for helping others, helping animals, helping move.
Right. And finding something you enjoy doing with such the huge chunk of your life that you've
Exactly.
spent working, right?
Because as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you guys know it's not 9 to 5.
No.
at all.
Well, even, I mean, being a veterinarian isn't 9 to 5. I mean, we actually were just commiserating because, we have a lot of our clients, especially our long-term loyal clients, have our cell phone numbers. And sometimes it's an easy, quick text, oh, my dog, accidentally ate 2 of its antacids instead of 1. Is this a big deal? Or sometimes, it's a lot more dramatic than that. But, it is.
Or 24 Clavamax.
Right.
As my
Well, we can barely get anybody to get Clavamax in their dog.
No. Laser, my dog, he's also a rescue we got about 1.5 years ago, he's a lab with, we think, a pit mix.
Mm-hmm.
So he's maybe a little bit pit. So he had a rash or whatever, and we went to Aunt Betty right up here, and she gave us the Clavamax. Well, he had the first dose the first day, and then we came down the next day, and he ate all 23 that were left over.
What always amazes me is when a cat eats something it's not supposed to.
Right.
So one of my technicians in a previous job dropped a dog anti-inflammatory on the floor. The cat came over and ate it and was like, if we wanted to give that to the cat, it would have taken 3 people 20 minutes to get it in the cat. But you drop it on the floor and the cat comes over and eats it. What is that?
Right.
Yeah.
Funny. All right, so what failure or loss has helped set you up for success?
I think that, when I had bought into the other practice I owned, that in my mind was going to be where I ended up, and I felt like the fact that didn't work out exactly the way I thought it was going to, I viewed as a failure. But I think ultimately when the visions weren't aligning and, although I was a minority partner, I didn't have the freedom and ability to put my daughter on the bus, things like that. I think that what I view very much as a failure and quitting ended up really catapulting where I'm supposed to be. I felt more where I feel like I'm doing more, although we as a business, because we're new, aren't where we need to be. Right. I feel like I am where I'm supposed to be. And
it's surprising how those failures set you up for success.
And it was a financial burden to make the decision to walk away. And it was a big one, but I think it was absolutely the right one. So, but I've never quit anything I've never quit anything my entire life. And, but it was, so that was a very difficult thing for me. But ultimately it ended up working out best for everyone,
Awesome. And Dr. Brooke,
failure or loss? We have that story in common at different practices, but the story of how I come to sit here is virtually identical to that. It's the same thing.
And we really don't talk about it. We don't really know. We don't know about each other's details. We just know that we were both minority partners, and it wasn't really far from what we thought it was going to be, and it was very difficult to decide to move on.
Right.
But
yeah. I mean, for me, I'd been in the job for 10 years, and it was. I don't have a lot of family around here, and the people that I've been working with for the last 10 years, several of them are still my very best friends. It was like leaving your family or your whatever. It was like a divorce. It really was. It was like getting divorced. But it was getting divorced from this whole part of my life. But it led me to be here and to be able to still serve my clients, but I think in a way that is much more my personality, and I think suits a lot of my clients better and suits my family better.
And it's allowing you to do rehab as well.
Right. And Dr. Shell, this position here gives me the flexibility that 2 days a week I'm not here in this building. And I know that my patients, who've been my patients for 14 years, are being taken care of because I know that Dr. Shell is here, and I can be somewhere else and doing my rehab job too. So, so that's a wonderful boon too.
Awesome. So where do you guys see yourselves in 3 years and 10 years?
I see myself here.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely see myself here. I think that, as we're building our relationship, we're like sort of dating. Right.
Exactly.
We're sort of dating, right? Talking about like your job being your marriage, So I mean,
we probably see each other more than you see your
sometimes.
Sometimes, some weeks, like we joked, like there was I had a day and then it was Memorial Day.
Yeah, we didn't see each other for like
see you for like a week or I miss you. See you later.
I was like, I haven't seen you in a week. But I mean, I think I don't anticipate us ever getting to be so very large and having a big sprawling practice where we do everything and we're all things to all people. But, I see us here with the extended hours and, and continuing to offer more services or, more intense or building up our equipment list, building up the things that not everybody needs to function, and just keep doing the job and building more relationships and clients. And I think in 10 years, it will be so awesome that, with her practicing primary care vet for 15 years, now all of a sudden we'll have clients at Compassion that we've known them for 10 years, and I think that, and then some of your clients,
Right.
They'll have multiple animals that have come and gone, but this client has been a client of Brooke's for 25 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's super fun already. Like we have some clients here who I was their vet when they were a kid, like, were a teenager or even younger than that, and now they're grown-ups and we see their pets. And
right, and they have their own family.
Yeah, right. So
yeah,
that's
it's sort of like your Aunt Betty, she's watched generations.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's something to really look back on and be proud of, that we've, if you maintain a client when there is literally a veterinarian,
right.
every 5 miles,
right.
I mean, you're doing something right.
Awesome. So tell our listeners, viewers, how they would get a hold of you, where you are specifically, website, Facebook, phone numbers.
Okay. So we are right in the heart of Urbana, in the Urbana Market District on Worthington Boulevard, which is the new Route 355. Our phone number is 240-341-4964. Our website's compassionvetcenter.com.
Awesome.
And
are you
you
on
can
Facebook?
find us on Facebook.
Yeah, we're
as
on
well.
Facebook.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. Our wonderful manager Julie takes care of our Facebook page.
And I'm actually very proud of our Facebook reviews. I mean, we have 50 reviews, and
awesome.
our clients, and we didn't ask anybody to write a review, and that's a big way that we've gotten our referrals. We didn't have any money for marketing when we started off, and knowing what to do. And when you don't have any money to spend on marketing, it's easy to decide what to do because you do nothing. But when you start getting an income, it's really hard to think about where you're going to allocate that, equipment or marketing. And
so what marketing do you guys do, or do you not do much at all?
Well, what we've really, really invested in is community. And that's the one thing I want to say where I see myself in 10 years is I do want to continue to build more and more community goodwill, and not just to get more business, but to give back to the community that welcomed me. So we do things like the Starlight Film Festival, where people can come and watch a free film, and we help sponsor that for the Frederick County Public Libraries. I do stuffed animal exams on kids, read books. We do a lot of tours for the Girl Scout and Cub Scout troops. We do the strawberry festivals. So a lot of local events. We sponsor advertising for the high schools and the high school and the middle school, like things like that. So, and I think as more money comes in, we'll have some more cash to say, what we'd like to do. We'd like to sponsor this whole sports team. Instead of throwing $100 towards your silent auction, we'd like to really give back to the community. So we don't do a lot of other. We do one print advertisement, which is a local magazine that we write stories in and things like that.
Oh, cool. Cool. Listeners, viewers, I hope you enjoyed episode 146 here at 3540 Unit 101, right? On Worthington Boulevard, right across from Giant, Compassion Vet with Dr. Brooke and Dr. Shell. And we are out.